You know, in economics, you run into these terms that sound almost the same but mean totally different things. And a classic example, supply versus quantity supplied. Getting this one right is absolutely crucial, and today we're going to make it crystal clear.
So what is the real difference here? Believe me, this isn't just about getting the jargon right. It's the key to understanding how producers think and, really, how whole markets actually work. So let's dive in, starting with the big picture.
All right, first things first, let's zoom out and tackle the broader concept, which is supply.
Okay, here's the official textbook definition. Now, the two words you really want to focus on here are different prices. See, supply isn't just one single number. It's the entire relationship between a whole range of prices and how much a producer is going to sell at each one.
Yeah, a great way to wrap your head around this is to think of it as a producer's game plan. Let's imagine we've got a farmer who grows strawberries. Her supply isn't just one number. It's her whole strategy for selling those strawberries based on whatever price she can get.
And you can see her game plan right here in action. If the price is low, let's say £2 a box, she's only willing to part with 200 boxes. It's just not worth the effort for more. But if that price doubles to £4, well, now we're talking. It's much more profitable, so she's ready to sell 400 boxes. This whole set of possibilities, this relationship between all the potential prices and her willingness to sell, that is supply.
Okay, so if supply is the whole game plan, what about a single play, a specific move in the game? Well, that brings us right to our second term, quantity supplied. So check out the definition for this one. Notice how the language has totally shifted? We went from different prices to a particular price. We're not talking about a broad relationship anymore. We're talking about a specific, concrete number tied to one exact price.
So let's jump back to our farmer. When the price hits exactly £4 per box, what does she do? She sells 400 boxes. That single number, 400, that is the quantity supplied at that one price. It's not a plan. It's the action she takes at that specific moment.
And this is where it all clicks into place. If we think about this visually, which, let's be honest, economists love to do, we get our big aha moment. It's all about the curve versus the point.
And this is the core idea right here. If we were to plot our farmer's entire game plan on a graph, the line we draw is called the supply curve. That whole line, that entire curve, is supply. And any single spot on that line, like the one representing 400 boxes at £4, is a specific quantity supplied.
Let's just lay it all out side by side. Supply is the macro view, the whole relationship, the full picture, the entire curve. Quantity supplied, that's the micro view, one specific amount, at one particular price, just one single point on that curve.
So this means when the price of strawberries changes, maybe it goes up from £2 to £4, the farmer's overall supply hasn't actually changed. Her game plan is exactly the same. What has changed is the quantity supplied. We've simply moved from one point on her supply curve to another.
So why do we care so much? Why does this distinction really matter? Well, because without it, you can't possibly understand what makes markets tick. Confusing a change in quantity supplied with a change in supply? That's probably one of the most common mistakes in basic economics, and it leads you to completely wrong conclusions about what's going on.
All right, so let's put it all together. Supply is the big picture, the whole story, the entire curve. Quantity supplied is just a single point on that curve. So when the price changes, all we're doing is moving from one point to another. That's a change in the quantity supplied. And look, understanding this isn't just about memorizing jargon. It's about learning to speak the language of the market.
And that brings us to a final thought. We figured out that a change in price only moves us along the curve that's already there. So what would it take to change the farmer's entire game plan? What could happen that would make the whole supply curve shift? Well, that is a fantastic question for another time. Thanks for joining me.